Hi everyone, I'm Vixey and welcome back to my art channel. As we were previously working on the grass here on our abstract symbolism portraits. Again, if you have any guesses as to who this portrait might be about, go ahead and put that in the the comments below. And I was previously just working on building up this grass over here. Now, last episode, I kind of wandered off topic a lot, so I'm gonna have to go back and rethink the title, I think. But that is kind of how life is sometimes. You just kind of go a little off track. But that's okay. It's totally okay to go off the beaten path and into the wild green grasslands of conversation. And I did mention in the previous episode, though, that conversation is how we gain enlightenment and understanding. So conversation is certainly a good thing. As a lot of people often say about asking dumb questions, I'm one person that asks a lot of questions. I love asking questions because, in fact, that's how I've kind of ended up with having 3 university degrees. Is just, I'm a very curious person, and I think it is always good to ask questions. And I have had quite a few of my teachers and lecturers over the years say to me that there is no such thing as a stupid question, which is totally untrue. There are some very, very mind-bendingly stupid questions out there, which we often see people actually ask on the internet, whether they're trolling or whether they're genuinely not understanding something. I think that it is very good to ask those questions. I have always said it is better to ask the stupid question than make the stupid mistake. Stupid mistakes are things that, like, are very often extremely difficult to undo, and in some cases are not able to be undone, and therefore it is better to have asked in the first place. And you may in fact find that, like, making the actual physical mistake is very painful or costly or leaves you with scars and things. So, like, that was, like, seriously, this is an example of a dumb question that our electronics lecturer, he put this up. He was like, okay, so it might sound like a dumb question. Somebody goes, can I scratch my nose with this drill? And then everyone was like, that seems like a really, really dumb question. Why would anyone ask that? And then he put up on the projector a picture of somebody with scars all across his face. And it was like, he didn't ask the dumb question. And I mean, it probably happens a lot more in construction and things where you're working with actual physical machinery that could be dangerous. But yeah, certain things like, oh, is this wire live? I mean, these things is like, if you don't ask the dumb question, then you could get yourself hurt, you know? So very, very, very often, asking the dumb questions is a good thing. Like, I mean, sure, people might laugh at you and say, oh my god, you're such an idiot, right? But, like, it's better to have been told that you're an idiot than actually get yourself hurt. So, by all means, ask dumb questions. And, like, I mean, it might not be quite as dramatic as a physical injury, right? But, like, you know, even emotionally, like, or something when you're asking about whether it's a faux pas or something, whether it will be awkward if, say, like, bringing a friend to a party or something like that. Is it okay if I invite them? That sort of thing. Like, sometimes it might be a dumb question, but it's worth asking. Because then you avoid a whole heap of other problems later on. So, by all means, ask questions. Questions are good. which probably has nothing to do with the topic of today. Again, I'm really liking how this is turning out with the blades of grass here. We're gonna thin this out right to a point here, so I'm gonna just put a little bit of a guideline. With painting, some people do like to go with the, like, sometimes put a charcoal or pencil, like some guidelines and things, particularly if you're starting out and you can't just visualize the, like, physical, like, shapes. I prefer to do it with the paint itself because that's a lot easier to hide afterwards. So I'm just gonna pop in a guideline here. That's where I want it to end. And yeah. So I believe my topic, we're up to H. So I was thinking the topic could be about heroes. Particularly superheroes. I am a huge fan of superheroes. As I mentioned in the previous one, I love Deadpool, mainly because Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. But my favorite of all time, my absolute favorite, is Batman. I love Batman. I'm not even sure why exactly. I mean, I grew up watching the 1950s one with Adam West, and he was hilarious. Same Bat time, same Bat channel. I would be glued to that TV screen and just laughing my head off as he hit people so hard that words describing the sounds would appear out of thin air. And I absolutely loved it. And he was such a wonderful entertainer who really never forgot that it was about, like, entertaining the kids, right? He gave it his all, and he was totally prepared to, like, be a bit kooky and silly just to, like, you know, put smiles on those kids' faces. And I was definitely one of those kids with a big, broad smile about it. And one of my other childhood heroes was Robin Hood. My favorite Disney movie of all time is actually the Disney Robin Hood with the fox. I just absolutely loved him. He was adorable in the singing and the dancing, and I mean, back when Disney was all about, like, you know, music and rescuing princesses and things like that. Those were really happy, fun memories of heroes. And I mean, people often say, don't meet your heroes because they've had bad experiences of being disappointed. But I mean, that's kind of difficult, I guess, if your heroes are in fact like imaginary. not imaginary, but I mean, like, because I mean the lore, I mean, we don't really know about Robin Hood actually. It could be a myth, a story that was completely made up, but there are a few things about it that are kind of real, like there is actually a Nottingham Forest. There was actually, like, princes and kings and so forth with there was actually a King Richard, you know. So there is with Robin Hood, it's like, not sure if that's a real story or not. So we don't know how fictional he is. And so, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is just, like, for me, a lot of my heroes are fictional. However, I think because, when I was younger, people would ask you, like, when you're trying to figure out who or what you want to be in life, they'll ask you, like, who are your heroes? And, I mean, some people had some very obvious ones, or, like, very human ones. Like, they would have, like, say, their sporting heroes, or and celebrities and things like that. And I didn't, which I think maybe partially the fact that growing up here in Australia, far from my family's hometown of Malaysia and China, I didn't have any of the cultural influences that I could have had if I had grown up over there, as well as I was always a bit of, I was very much a tomboy. They would call it tomboy. And now I think NB, or non-binary, is probably slightly more accurate, I guess. But I was particularly into sciences and things, and at the time, we didn't really hear very much about the women in science, which maybe would have been quite different to these days, where we do hear about, like, Marie Curie, which she is a fantastic and amazing woman, and I would say that if I had known about her when I was a child, she would definitely have been one of my heroes. But I grew up in a time when that wasn't like the very common. And now, her name, I keep wanting to call her Blossom, because I grew up watching her as Blossom. She's now Amy from Big Bang Theory. I'm gonna totally mess up her name, and I apologize a million times for it. Mayak B. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. That was probably terribly pronouncing her name, but I'm really bad at that, so I do apologize. But she is, like, a huge hero to me. She has, because she's an actress, she's a well-known celebrity, and she is very, very smart. Like, she actually does have a PhD. And she's written books and all sorts of things, so I think she's amazing, and I would absolutely love to meet her in real life one day. So yeah, meeting heroes. I mean, I haven't had a bad experience. I've actually had quite good experiences with meeting heroes. So, I mean, there is a photo on my Instagram and on my Facebook and floating around the internet in general of me giving Jason Momoa, like, the biggest hug ever. It's just like, and he was absolutely lovely to meet in real life. I met him at the Comic-Con thing. I forget whether it was Comic-Con or Armageddon, but you can go to these conventions, and you do pay money to, like, get these photographs with the celebrities, but you can 100% meet them. And yeah, it could be an absolutely fun and enjoyable experience. Of course, please just try not to be creepy. Like, don't, like, I mean, it's okay to ask, right? So, like, I asked if I could hug him, and he was like, yeah, sure, that's fine, right? So, again, with the stupid questions, you can ask the question, but if they say no, just totally back down. Just say, okay, that's the boundary, right? Don't try to push, like, that. Don't be rude like that. Don't give them a hard time about it, because, like, they come all the way to these conventions and things, and to meet you, their fans, and they don't need to be harassed, right? And I think that's why I've had fairly positive interactions with them, is that I politely ask, I politely wait in line. I have I basically just, I mean, I understand that they are on the job, okay? They're not there. And the last thing they need is a bunch of people trying to, like, be creepy and sleazy or rude to them in any way whatsoever. Like, these are still humans, you know? And I mean, yeah, it's totally great and wonderful to have real humans who are real heroes in the world and in your life. And I do actually recommend meet your heroes, and just, you know, try to be a cool, chill human being that's nice to them. And then you'll have positive interactions. I mean, because a lot of the times with, like, the, you know, being disappointed and having a bad interaction with them is maybe because you disturbed them in the middle of their meal or something, or some, or just, like, you know, were too pushy, or like had these expectations of them being, like, you know, godlike in some way, when at the end of the day, a lot of them they're human, right? Um, so yeah, I do recommend meeting your heroes and just being nice to them. And it's good to have heroes because it's something to aspire to, right? It's some sort of inspiration. That, I mean, for me, I think that when I have made, like, life changes and progresses in my life, it hasn't really been inspired or um, by anyone else, because I guess I've always liked the idea of being OG, you know, being, like, unique and one of a kind. So I've kind of tried to avoid the I'm following other people's footsteps. But I mean, a little of it is kind of unavoidable, because um, there are lots of people in the world, and there have been for many, 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 many years now, and so a lot of people have done a lot of the things in the world, in life, and yeah, that's what heroes are. They're just really good examples of how to do it well and do it right, you know. And if your heroes are human, I guess that's the real thing that you just got to remember. They're human, and humans have good and bad in them. They make good and bad decisions. They have their good days, their bad days. They have their good moods and their bad moods, and that's human, and that's good. It's good to be human. I mean, we've all heard the phrase "only human," right? And I never really liked that, because I was like, being human is actually an amazing, wonderful thing. Like, and we shouldn't just discount that in any way. We should actually go, yeah, hey, being human is awesome and wonderful, and it is okay to be human. And on the days where you just feel like, I'm struggling to be human, those are the days you just gotta remember that, you know, humans do have their bad days and their sad days, and that's perfectly normal. Again, just, like, be kinder to each other, and just more understanding that, like, we all have days where we're not the most perfect. Um, yeah. Okay. I maybe went a bit too bright here, but not to worry, because the beauty of working with paint is that you can always paint over your mistakes. Yes. Um, yeah. Actually, I'm not hating that at all. I'm quite liking it. Because I mean, I do plan on, as I said, painting over the mistakes, but it's not a mistake. I'm gonna own it. I'm gonna say these are just the background highlights. Now that's the plan. In the next episode, I'm going to address a little advice someone gave me about making mistakes. Speaking of, yes, I have this guitar in the background because I do at some point, and I'm getting paint all over it like an idiot. I do at some point plan on doing some musical content, so we're not going to be completely just a painting channel. This is an art channel, so I'm going to be exploring different types of art. I do have some origami paper, which we will explore some origami at some point, which could be fun and interesting. And I can actually knit and crochet as well, so I'll probably at some point do a segment on that too. So there is plenty of content that we can all look forward to. So, yes. Again, I'm just going in with the really fine brush and adding all these little bright, like, sprites in the grass here. And when I started this wasn't actually in my original idea or plan, and it just sort of came into existence. So I always feel like my paintings are a bit of an adventure that way because they're not like super planned out. I do always have like a general idea of what I'm going for though, so which I explained at the very beginning of making this that there's certainly some symbols and things, like I have a little checklist of stuff that I want to include in the overall project at the end. But actually this is probably a little more thought out than some of my other paintings. For instance, that first one, that was just pure instinct. I just kept painting until I felt like I should stop. and that was just total gut instinct of when that would be. So I guess the beautiful thing about art is sometimes you just feel it. Sometimes you just feel art. I mean, there is cerebral things. There are things that are like technical, I guess you could call them technical, where like the knowledge of how the water interacts with acrylics as opposed to oils and turpentine and things like that. So there is some technical knowledge, which I learned most of through trial and error, just testing it out. Like I said, I tried painting with oil and discovered that I hated it. And so the beautiful thing about art is it's very much just experiment and learn as you go, that you can just have fun with it. And it is a lot about gut instincts. And out of most of the arts and crafts, I would say it's probably one of the safer ones because you aren't using like heavy machinery in any way. Like you're not using scissors or staples or anything that could cut you. So, or even for getting paper cuts from origami, right? It's see, I got paint all over my hands. Easy fix. Wash it off with soap and water. Again, this is because it's with acrylics. I guess it's kind of different with oil. And yeah. So paint is a great entry point for art. So yeah. This video again is getting a little long, so I'm going to just say farewell. Thank you for joining us here on my channel, and please like, share, subscribe, and love ya.